Shalom, I'm Talia Paz. I'm here to talk about Nira Paz, a legendary dancer who passed away in May of this year. She was my mother. Nira Paz was a pioneer of dance in Israel and around the world. She was an internationally known soloist and danced with some of the greatest and most influential choreographers of the 20th century. She was a woman who broke barriers, bridging the worlds of classical ballet and modern dance. She shaped generations of dancers and dance teachers in Israel, serving a source of inspiration on and off stage. In order to understand Nira Paz and her greatness, one must first understand the spirit of the period in which she was born and the context in which she grew up. Nira was born in pre-state Israel. Palestine, as it was known then, was under the rule of the British Mandate. The land was disputed, and there was constant rioting and looting. People were living in a state of conflict and fear under very difficult conditions. Immigrations of Jews was taking place. Many were fleeing the Nazis, and Zionism was bringing Jews for the ideological reasons. Nira grew up with no electricity in a small village between Arab villages. Most of her days she spent alone. Her parents worked in agriculture, growing tomatoes in Tiberias. They were mostly absent from her life. When she was 12, her parents managed to buy a small apartment in Tel Aviv, where her life really began. One day, Nira discovered through her best friend from school that there was such a thing as a dance class, and that she could study dance. Nira begged her parents to let her study ballet, but she was met with a complete refusal. The land of Israel of those days was steeped in the spirit of pioneering, the ethos of drying up swamps and the conquest of the wilderness. In those days, artistic dance was not respected. Eventually, her parents relented and sent her to the studio of Gertrude Kraus, a pioneer of expressionist dance who came from Germany to Israel in 1929. Nira's dream was to become a ballerina. So against all odds, she moved to the Mia Arbatova studio. Mia had brought the classical ballet tradition from the Riga Opera House in 1934. She opened the first ballet school in Tel Aviv. One day, Jerome Robbins came to the studio. He was visiting Israel on a Jewish agency trip. When he saw Nira, he was impressed by her talent and her ambition. He encouraged her to keep working and get to New York City, to the land of possibilities. In 1952, Nira did come to New York, and she devoured it. She had come from the destitute land of Israel to America, the land of abundance. Nira had worked very hard in order to raise her professional level as quickly as possible to match her American peers and beyond. Her motto was, "I dance every day as if it is my last day." All her hard work paid off. When she became a soloist at the prestigious dance company of the Metropolitan Opera under the direction of Dame Alicia Markova. She worked with the great choreographers of the period, including Anthony Tudor, Anton Dolin, Alvin Ailey, and Anna Sokolov. In 1970, Nira and her young family returned to Israel, where at the time there was still barely a dance scene. After returning to Israel, she danced in Bador Dance Company. In 1975, she joined the Israeli Ballet as a dancer and eventually worked as a rehearsal director and a teacher for the company. She later joined Batsheva Dance Company, with whom she performed until her retirement in 1982. Over her career in these companies, she danced as a soloist in works by George Balanchine, Alvin Ailey, John Cranko, Robert Cohen, Eagle Perry, Paul Sanasardo, Kurt Joss, and so many more. In 1989, Nira founded the Mia Arbatova Ballet Association for the promotion of classical ballet, along with Yair Vardi and Chezi Leskli. They had a dream that dance culture would thrive and that every child who dreams of dancing would receive the best conditions and opportunities to succeed. Nira devoted her entire professional life to promoting dance in Israel in every possible way. Thanks to her tireless effort and determination, generations of dancers and teachers have sprung up in Israel and in dance companies around the world. Nira left her indelible mark on Israeli dance scene. On a personal note, I had the privilege to be her daughter. And when I dance, we are one. She's truly missed.